There's a nameless pain, a pain that settles in your chest like a weight that will never completely leave you. It's the pain of losing someone we love too soon, before we're ready to say goodbye. If you're here, I know you know this pain intimately. Maybe it was a child who left too early, a parent who passed in the prime of their life, a sibling who had so many dreams ahead of them, or a friend who lit up every room they entered. The pain of premature loss can feel like an ocean without a shore, vast, deep, and seemingly endless. It's a pain that leaves us questioning everything, our faith, our purpose, even our reason for being. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to be taken at the very moment we need them most? Why those we love most are called away when there's still so much love to share, so many words to be said, so many hugs to be given? If these questions echo in your heart right now, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're about to discover a perspective that can forever transform how you see these departures that tear us apart so deeply. Before we continue this transformative journey together, if this video is already touching your heart, please leave a like so we can reach others who also need to hear this message. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, because life-changing content like this comes to you every week. And please leave a comment sharing what question about loss troubles you the most. Your participation makes our community stronger and more welcoming. Why them? Why now? Why couldn't they stay a little longer? These questions pound in our minds during sleepless nights, when silence amplifies our pain. Why does a 5-year-old child have to face a disease that adults fear? Why is a 20-year-old, full of life and plans, taken by an accident? Why does a devoted mother pass away at 40, leaving young children who still need her so much? Is there any meaning in this apparent cruelty of fate, or are we lost in a chaotic universe where things just happen without any purpose? Have you ever found yourself looking at the sky and asking, why didn't you take someone who had already lived a full life? Why not someone who caused pain to the world? It's natural for our minds to seek justice, logic, some kind of explanation that makes sense. But what if these questions were being asked from the wrong perspective? What if we were only looking through limited human eyes when we should be seeing through the infinite perspective of the universe? What if every departure, no matter how painful, has a deeper meaning that our current understanding can't grasp? What if I told you there's a profound and sacred meaning behind every departure that seems premature? What if every soul that leaves before their time is actually fulfilling the exact divine purpose for which they came to Earth? Get ready for a revelation that can completely change how you see death, life, and love itself. What you're about to discover isn't just a comforting theory. It's an ancient spiritual truth that has the power to transform your deepest pain into understanding, your anger into acceptance, and your despair into renewed hope. In the next few minutes, you'll understand why some souls choose shorter but immensely more powerful earthly journeys. You'll discover how to recognize the signs of a fulfilled purpose, even when it happens in a life that seemed to be just beginning. More importantly, you'll learn how to honor the memory of those who left in a way that keeps them alive in your heart, while allowing you to continue living with purpose and joy. This isn't an easy journey, but it's a necessary one. It's a journey that can free you from the prison of incomprehension and open the doors to an even deeper connection with those we love, regardless of the plane they're on. Throughout the centuries, spiritual masters, philosophers, and sacred traditions from around the world have taught us a fundamental truth. The human soul is eternal, and each incarnation has a specific purpose. Hinduism tells us about Dharma, the sacred purpose each soul comes to fulfill in this dimension. Buddhism teaches us about karma and how each life is an opportunity for spiritual evolution. Mystical Christian traditions speak of how God calls his children back home to the celestial realm when their earthly mission is complete. Plato, one of humanity's greatest philosophers, already said that learning is actually remembering. Our soul already knows truths that our conscious mind needs to rediscover. Contemporary spiritual masters like Deepak Chopra, Wayne Dyer, and Eckhart Tolle have dedicated their lives to helping us understand that physical death is just a transition, not an end. Quantum physics, surprisingly, has corroborated many of these ancient teachings, showing us that energy is never lost, it only transforms. Studies on near-death experiences conducted in respected universities around the world have documented thousands of cases of people who reported conscious experiences during clinical death, strongly suggesting that consciousness survives the death of the physical body. These aren't just pretty concepts to comfort us. They are truths validated by both ancient wisdom and modern science. Now I'm going to ask you to do something revolutionary, to completely change the filter through which you're looking at these departures we call premature. Imagine for a moment that you are a cosmic film director, observing earthly life from an infinitely broader perspective. From this elevated viewpoint, what seems like a premature departure can actually be perfect divine timing. Consider this possibility. What if some souls come to Earth with specific spiritual contracts, concentrated missions that can be accomplished in shorter periods, but with infinitely greater impact? Think of a meteor crossing the night sky. Its journey may last only a few seconds, but its light is so intense that it illuminates miles of landscape and remains forever etched in the memory of those who witness it. Some souls work exactly like this. They come to shine brightly, touch other lives deeply, and then return to their spiritual home, their mission fulfilled with perfection. When a young child leaves after teaching their parents the meaning of unconditional love, is that a tragedy or the fulfillment of a sacred purpose? When an idealistic young person leaves after inspiring an entire generation to fight for social change, was their life wasted, or was it a powerful catalyst for transformations that will last decades? When a loving person leaves after bringing a fragmented family together through their illness, showing everyone what truly matters, is that cruelty of fate or divine wisdom in action? What I'm suggesting isn't that you deny your pain or pretend that the loss doesn't matter. I'm suggesting that you expand your perspective to include possibilities that our limited vision usually can't see. Every soul that leaves prematurely may actually be graduating with honors from an earthly school where they completed their specific curriculum with mastery. They are not lost. They are promoted to a higher dimension of existence, where they can continue to care for us in ways that our physical perception cannot detect, but our heart often feels. This shift in perspective doesn't eliminate longing, but it transforms it. Instead of being just senseless pain, it becomes a testament to the deep love that was shared, proof that something very special existed and continues to exist in a different form. Longing becomes a bridge between dimensions, a golden thread that connects our heart to the heart of those we love, regardless of the plane they're on. Imagine existence as a magnificent cosmic symphony, where each life is a unique and irrelevant musical note. Some notes are long and sustained, echoing through decades of earthly melody. Others are sharp and brilliant notes that play only for a moment, but whose purity and intensity define the entire harmony of the composition. Without these brief, powerful notes, the symphony would lose its emotional depth, its ability to touch the deepest fibers of the human soul. Now visualize life as an immense tapestry being woven by the hands of the universe. Each thread represents a life, a soul, a unique journey. Some threads run the entire length of the tapestry, creating long, consistent lines in the overall pattern. Other threads are shorter, but their color is so vibrant, their texture so special, that they become the focal points that give meaning and beauty to the entire work. These short threads are not flaws in the tapestry. They are the details that transform a common piece of fabric into a transcendent work of art. Also, think of the metaphor of the divine garden. Some plants are centennial trees that grow slowly and offer shade for generations. Others are rare flowers that bloom with extraordinary beauty, perfume the entire garden with their unique fragrance, and then complete their cycle, leaving seeds that will germinate in human hearts for years or decades to come. The cosmic gardener doesn't plant these flowers to wither prematurely. She plants them knowing exactly how long they need to fulfill their purpose of beautifying the world and inspiring other gardeners to cultivate more beauty. Each of these metaphors helps us understand that the length of a life doesn't determine its value or impact. A lightning bolt lasts fractions of a second, but its light can be seen miles away. A shooting star crosses the sky in a few moments, but people make wishes when they see it, believing in its magic. Likewise, a life that seems brief to our eyes can carry a spiritual intensity and transformative power that resonates through generations, influencing destinies and touching souls in ways that longer, but less focused, lives perhaps never could. The key is to recognize that we're only seeing a fragment of an infinite tapestry, hearing only a few notes of an eternal symphony, contemplating only a small section of a garden that extends beyond the horizon. Our limited perspective makes us question the wisdom of the composer, the weaver, the cosmic gardener. But when we expand our vision, when we allow our heart to feel the larger pattern, we begin to perceive perfection even in what once seemed chaotic or unjust. Before we continue exploring these transformative perspectives, I need to pause and fully honor your pain. What you're feeling is real, valid, and deeply human. Nothing I've shared so far is intended to minimize or rush your grieving process. The longing you carry is a testament to the love that was shared, and that love is sacred. Your tears are liquid prayers that the universe receives with reverence. Your anger is understandable. We've lost someone who was a fundamental part of our reality, and it's natural for our mind and heart to rebel against that absence. I want you to know that it's completely acceptable to feel anger. Anger at God, at the universe, at fate, even at the person who left for leaving us. I want you to know that it's normal to question everything you believed before this loss. I want you to know that moments of despair, when it feels like you'll never feel genuine joy again, are natural parts of the human journey in the face of loss. There's no right timeline for grief, no right way to process such a significant loss. I also want to validate the emotional complexities that can arise. Maybe you feel guilty for moments of happiness, as if being okay is a betrayal of the memory of the person who left. Maybe you experience relief in certain situations, especially if the person went through a lot of suffering before leaving, and then feel terrible for feeling relief. Maybe you oscillate between accepting spiritual explanations and rejecting them completely, depending on the day or even the hour. All of this is part of the human process of integrating a profound loss. What I'm offering isn't a magic formula to eliminate your pain, nor a spiritual pill that will make everything instantly okay. I'm sharing a perspective that can coexist with your pain, that can gradually transform it into something more bearable and even meaningful, but which won't eliminate it completely, nor should it. Longing is the price we pay for having loved deeply, and that price is an investment worth making. These spiritual perspectives don't invalidate your feelings or your experience. They offer an additional lens through which you can eventually choose to look at your loss when you're ready, if you're ready. Some people find comfort in these ideas immediately. Others need years for them to make sense. Still others may never fully resonate with them, and that's okay too. Each grief journey is unique, just as each relationship and each loss are unique. The important thing is that you allow yourself to feel everything you need to feel, for as long as you need to feel it, while keeping your heart open to the possibility that eventually there may be layers of meaning and purpose that you can't yet see. Healing doesn't mean forgetting or getting over. It means learning to carry the love and memory in a way that honors both the person who left and your own continuing life journey. Your pain is sacred because it was born of love, and love never dies. It merely transforms, expands, finds new ways to express itself. Even when we can no longer physically touch those we love, we can still touch them through memory, honor them through our actions, connect with them through the energy of love that continues to live in our heart. And perhaps, just perhaps, they have ways of touching us back that we're only beginning to learn to recognize. Throughout human history, millions of people have reported experiences that strongly suggest those we love continue to exist after physical death. I'm not talking about superstitions or wishful thinking, but about documented phenomena studied and validated by serious researchers in respected institutions around the world. Let me share with you some of these accounts that can completely change your perspective on where those who have left are. The University of Virginia, through its Division of Perceptual Studies, has documented thousands of cases of near-death experiences for over 50 years. Dr. Raymond Moody, a pioneer in this field, has collected thousands of accounts from people who were declared clinically dead and then returned, all describing consistent experiences: the sensation of floating above one's own body, meeting loved ones who had already passed, a panoramic life review, and most significantly, an encounter with beings of light radiating unconditional love. But here's what's truly fascinating. Many of these people report having met family and friends who passed before them. And these loved ones often communicated that they were fine, that they continued to exist in a dimension of peace and love, and that they had fulfilled exactly the purpose for which they came to Earth. A woman named Sarah, who had a near-death experience after a car accident, reported meeting her 7-year-old son who had died of leukemia 2 years prior. The boy appeared radiant, healthy, and told her, "Mom, I came to do what I came to do. I came to teach you and Dad about true love. My mission was complete." Studies conducted at the University of Southampton in England followed over 2,000 patients who suffered cardiac arrest. Of these, 330 survived, and 140 reported some kind of consciousness during the period they were declared clinically dead. Even more impressive, some were able to accurately describe details of medical procedures performed on their unconscious bodies, information they couldn't have obtained through physical senses. But the evidence doesn't stop at near-death experiences. Millions of people around the world report vivid dreams and visits from deceased loved ones. These are not ordinary dreams. They have a different quality, a clarity and a sense of reality that completely distinguishes them from normal dreams. In many cases, these visits occur to bring specific messages of comfort, forgiveness, or guidance. Maria, a nurse from São Paulo, lost her mother in a domestic accident when she was a teenager. For years she carried deep guilt, feeling she could have done something to prevent the tragedy. 20 years later, she had an extraordinarily vivid dream where her mother appeared, young and radiant, and said, "Daughter, I chose to leave at that moment because my mission of teaching you independence and strength was complete. You've become the courageous woman I knew you could be. Stop carrying this guilt. It doesn't belong to you." Synchronicity is also powerful evidence of the continuing connection with our loved ones. Synchronicities are meaningful coincidences that seem to be messages or signs. People consistently report that, after the loss of a loved one, they start noticing specific patterns. Certain songs playing at crucial moments, specific animals appearing repeatedly, significant numbers showing up in unexpected places, or objects being found in impossible locations. João lost his father, a mechanic passionate about old cars, to a sudden heart attack. In the following months, every time João went through a difficult moment, arguments at work, financial problems, doubts about important decisions, he would find bird feathers in unusual places, inside the car, on his office desk, even in his jacket pocket. Initially, he dismissed it as coincidence, until his aunt told him that his father always used to say that when he died, he wanted to fly free like a bird. The feathers became a source of comfort and guidance for João, who began to interpret them as signs that his father was still looking after him. Research into after-death communication, conducted by organizations like the Forever Family Foundation, has documented thousands of cases where mediums were able to provide specific and verifiable information about deceased individuals, information they could not have obtained through conventional means. While we should always be cautious of charlatans, there are impressive cases where the accuracy of the information provided defies conventional explanations. Studies on reincarnation, particularly the work of Dr. Ian Stevenson at the University of Virginia, have documented over 3,000 cases of children who reported detailed memories of previous lives, many of which were verified through historical research. These cases suggest that consciousness can indeed survive physical death and return in new incarnations. But perhaps the most powerful evidence is that which comes from your own heart. How many times have you felt the presence of someone you love, even after their departure? How many times have you had a clear sense that they were trying to communicate with you? How many times have you received comfort or guidance through memories that seemed to surface at the exact moment you needed them most? These experiences are not illusions or psychological defense mechanisms. They are windows into a broader reality, evidence that true love transcends the limitations of physical existence. They show us that those who have left are not lost or suffering. They continue to exist, to grow, and to maintain loving connections with us in ways that our limited perception is only beginning to understand. Now, I want you to pause and deeply connect with your own experience. This isn't just a moment to listen, but to feel, to examine, to discover truths that may be held within your own heart. The questions I'm about to ask may be challenging, but they have the power to reveal aspects of your relationship with the person who left that you may never have fully considered. First reflection. Think of the person you lost. Now, instead of focusing on what was cut short, on what you couldn't do together, I want you to ask yourself, how am I different, better, more complete because they lived? What qualities did they awaken in me that might have been dormant? What aspects of my character were strengthened through the love we shared? Perhaps they taught you patience through their challenges, courage through their struggle, compassion through their vulnerability, or joy through their unique way of seeing the world. Take a deep breath and really feel this. You carry a part of them within you, not just as memory, but as real transformation. They change the fabric of who you are, and that change is eternal. When you demonstrate the patience you learned from them, they are living through you. When you offer the kind of unconditional love they taught you, they continue to touch the world through your actions. Second reflection. Now I want you to consider the timing of their departure with a different perspective. Ask yourself, what important lessons did I learn specifically because of how and when they left? How did this experience of loss force me to grow in ways I might not have grown otherwise? Perhaps the premature departure of a parent taught you to value every moment with the people you love. Perhaps the loss of a child connected you with a deep compassion for other grieving parents. Perhaps the departure of a friend showed you the importance of expressing love regularly, instead of assuming there will always be time later. This doesn't mean you should be grateful for the loss. That's not the point. The point is to recognize that even in the most painful experiences, our soul has an extraordinary capacity to extract growth, wisdom, and purpose. And perhaps, just perhaps, at a level our conscious mind doesn't fully understand, the person who left knew that their departure at that specific moment would catalyze important transformations in you and in others who loved them. Third reflection. Think about moments after their departure when you felt their presence, received signs that seemed to come from them, or had sudden insights that seemed to be their guidance. Don't dismiss these experiences as imagination. Ask yourself, how did I feel in those moments? What kind of message or energy did I receive? How did these experiences change my perspective or help me make important decisions? Many people report that after the initial loss and the most intense period of grief, they began to realize that their connection with those who left hadn't ended. It had transformed. Instead of direct physical communication, a more subtle, but equally real form of connection developed, through intuitions, meaningful dreams, synchronicities, and an inner sense of guidance and protection. Fourth reflection. Now the most challenging question. If you could talk to the person who left right now, and they told you that their departure was part of a larger plan, that they fulfilled exactly the purpose for which they came, and that they continue to love and care for you from a different dimension, how would that change how you carry the pain of loss? How would that change how you live your own life? This isn't a question to be answered with the mind, but felt with the heart. Perhaps the answer won't come immediately, and that's okay. Perhaps it will come in waves, in moments of silence, in early mornings when you are more open and receptive. The important thing is that you allow yourself to consider this possibility, that you open your heart to the idea that true love can transcend the physical limitations of death. Fifth reflection. Finally, I want you to ask yourself, how can I honor the memory and legacy of the person who left in a way that keeps alive the essence of what they represented? How can I channel the love I feel for them into actions that benefit other people and make the world a little better? Perhaps it's through volunteering for a cause that was important to them. Perhaps it's by developing the qualities you most admired in them. Perhaps it's simply by living with more intensity, more gratitude, more present, because you now understand the precious fragility of life. When you live in a way that honors who they were and what they represented, you keep their energy alive in the world in a tangible and powerful way. These reflections don't have right or wrong answers. They are invitations for you to explore the depths of your own experience, to discover meanings and connections that may be waiting to be recognized. And remember, you don't need to reach definitive conclusions. Sometimes the most important questions are those we continue to carry with us, allowing them to gradually transform us over time. We've reached the end of this transformative journey together, but in reality, we're just at the beginning of a new way of understanding and living with the loss of those we love. If you've come this far, it's because your heart is open to possibilities of healing, growth, and connection that go beyond the limitations of physical experience. And that in itself is a testament to the strength of your love and your courage to face one of the most challenging experiences of human life. I want to leave you with a final truth that can become your guide in the days to come. The love you feel for the person who left doesn't have to become just painful longing. It can transform into an active, creative, and transformative force in your life. Every time you choose to live with more compassion because of what they taught you, they continue to impact the world through you. Every time you offer comfort to someone going through a similar loss, you are channeling their love back into the world. Every time you embrace life with more intensity, because you understand its precious fragility, you are powerfully honoring their legacy. Death may end a physical life, but it cannot end a relationship of true love. That relationship simply evolves, adapts, finds new forms of expression. You may no longer be able to physically hug them, but you can hug others with the kind of love they taught you. You may no longer be able to hear their voice, but you can hear the echoes of their wisdom in your own heart when you need guidance. You may no longer be able to see them with physical eyes, but you can see them reflected in every act of kindness you perform, in every moment of joy you allow into your life, in every decision you make based on love instead of fear. And here's something revolutionary to consider. Perhaps, by living more fully and lovingly because of what you learned from them, you are also contributing to their spiritual evolution. Perhaps, from the dimension where they now exist, they feel joy and pride every time you grow, every time you love, every time you choose hope instead of despair. Perhaps your journey of healing and growth is part of their continuing journey too. I'm not asking you to get over the loss or move on as if nothing happened. I'm suggesting that you move forward together, that you continue your life journey carrying the best of who they were, honoring the transformation they caused in you, and keeping alive the energy of the love you shared. In the most difficult moments when the longing feels unbearable, remember, they are not lost. They completed their earthly journey and continue to exist in a different form. The love you shared is eternal and continues to connect you beyond the limitations of time and space. And one day, when your own earthly journey is complete, you will meet again, bringing all the experiences, growth, and love you accumulated during the time of physical separation. Until then, live. Live fully, intensely, lovingly. Not as a betrayal of their memory, but as the greatest honor you can pay to someone who loved you so much that their very existence made yours possible and meaningful. They planted seeds of love in your heart that were meant to bloom, not to wither in the shadow of longing. Now, I want to ask you a special favor. If this video touched your heart, if these words brought you some comfort or new perspective, please share it with someone who might need to hear this message. Grief can be a very lonely journey, and knowing we are not alone in our questions and our search for meaning can make all the difference. Leave a like if you felt this perspective can help others find peace amidst their pain. Subscribe to the channel to receive more content that explores the deep mysteries of life, love, and spiritual continuity. And please, in the comments, share your own experience if you feel comfortable doing so. What signs have you received from the person who left? How has this loss transformed you? What message would you like to leave for other people going through a similar journey? Your story might be exactly what someone needs to hear today to keep moving forward with renewed hope. Remember, you are loved beyond understanding by those who are here and by those who have left. That love is your strength, your guide, and your eternal connection to all that is sacred in this existence. Carrying this truth in your heart is the greatest tribute you can pay to those you love, regardless of the dimension they are in. Until our next encounter, may you find moments of peace amidst your longing. May you recognize the signs of love that continue to reach you, and may you live in a way that would make those who left smile with pride as they watch you continue your journey with courage, love, and hope.